Well, once again, we're here with Nova and Raamayan. We haven't been together in quite a while. And I think this is a bit of an exciting, I think, thing for me because I think for Raamayan, I would love you to do a sort of like a 10-minute synopsis of creation, what you're working on, so that he can understand as a first-time listener and anyone else, this could be a really good way to sort of sum up what you've got. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, I mean, I have about 10, 15 here before I have a meeting. Somebody's going to come meet me. So whenever they come, I'm going to have to jump. But
Okay.
I'm happy to be on here until they come over.
Okay. So let's switch. Okay. So now, can you look this way a bit? Look.
Yeah.
Yeah, that way. Look that way if you can. And imagine you're talking to an investor and you've got 10 minutes with them and you want to give the whole spiel of what it is. Go.
Well, there's three different layers that I would say our platform's called creation. At the top level, if we look at it at meta level, what are we trying to solve in terms of society's problems? Well, there's a transition to post-capitalism. We speak about this all the time. We don't really know what it means. It's very ambiguous. My vision of post-capitalism is not the end of trade or not the end of commerce, because I think that is unrealistic. I'm not in that world and not in that camp. It's the question is, how do you bring surplus back to the commons? How do you make communities the de facto organizational model rather than companies? How do communities become the new companies? How do you empower communities or groups of people with aligned shared values, interest, causes to actually have the tools, resources, and support they need to be able to function as independent economic units? How do you unlock the true human potential inside of communities? Um, Today we have this proliferation of online communities. Every page and group and Reddit page and Mighty Network calls themselves a community, but it's such a loosely defined word, right? If you go to Facebook group, you're liking, commenting, and sharing, which really doesn't really make a community. That makes a media page with a very loose interest group. So with Elijah, I mean, he, 15 years ago inspired me with this vision of a shared knowledge community. Or what is a vision in terms of how we're able to truly utilize the gifts and skills within members of a community to truly unlock surplus? And how do we bring that surplus back and distribute it to the community? And how do we give agency to that community to have access, membership, voting, governance, and decision making? So these things have been driving me for a long time. They've been driving Elijah for a long time. And now with Web3, with blockchain, with NFTs, with decentralized access, you actually have the ability to be able to create some of this infrastructure. So that's what we're really excited about. So creation is a platform that turns you from fans to family. It makes you from a follower to a co-creator, right? Web 2 is about followers. Web 2 is about monetizing your audience. Web 3 is about monetizing with your community, right? That is a big jump. It's a big leap. And we're here to help bridge that gap and to help make that leap. So we're a communal network.
Fantastic. I was just wondering before you go, because we don't know how long we have you, if Nova, do you want to just give a little update about your new game virtual reality project? Because it might be a good starter project within this creation program.
Um, okay, I'm not sure how it fits in exactly, but it's one of the things I'm working on right now. It's a virtual reality Dungeons and Dragons multiverse platform. Yeah, essentially people can play fantasy games, whether it be Dungeons and Dragons or another name, in a virtual space, with their headsets on, and the game itself, the imagination of what's happening in the story actually comes to life in front of them, and they can interact with it in an interesting way. But I'm not sure how that connects exactly to your idea. I actually have other ideas that I think connect better.
Okay,
And
go ahead.
maybe if we had
It does
more
though.
time.
It does though. I'll tell you how. We look at games as one of the best examples of this platform, right? Because we tend to think of games as like this nuclear thing separated from its fans and its audience, but it isn't. The games are one of the most engaging activities we can be a part of. It's where people who are fans of a game feel a deep sense of connection to the brand, deep sense of loyalty. Real users of the game want to be empowered. They want to be empowered with greater access and control, i.e. look how many mods and mod communities exist. And look at Minecraft, and the communities, the rabid, avid communities that exist around games are some of the strongest communities in the world, I think. And yet we don't really have models to empower those communities. So with our platform, when you raise for your game, because you can do a launch pad and raise for your game, much like Kickstarter, a percentage of those funds can also go into a community treasury. So say you're raising $1 million to build the game. Part of your pitch on our platform is that 20% of those funds are going to go into a community pool, which the community can use and decide to create on top of the game and build cool shit with. No one's ever done that. Nobody's ever empowered a gaming community with a treasury and access to voting and access to being able to rank up in the game and be able to create with. So that's one way that our platform could be used for games to empower true community.
That's actually, yeah, well put. Okay, I can see it now then. Interesting.
Do you want to add in your other projects, Nova, you were thinking of?
Well, I don't know if I have the time right now, but I've thought of a lot of things that are. I'm a game developer as well, so a lot of my ideas do revolve around gaming.
Me too.
And that particular idea is just, it's more like I played Dungeons and Dragons as a kid. I think it's really cool. I would love to actually play a game like that. And then I got to talking to some people, and it seemed actually like a really good business. So I'm kind of pursuing that with a 3D artist right now. Not sure where that's going to go. But another aspect of gaming, and society, humanity, whatever, that I'm quite interested in bringing some energy towards is kind of the idea. I haven't framed it completely, but the idea centers around a sort of metaverse, if you will, type of game itself, where you're playing the game, and there's one way this could work, where perhaps it aggregates all its visual information from Google Maps and that sort of stuff, and you're kind of playing a game that involves that digital imagery, so you can see the world as it is now, or something somewhere close to it, in the game itself, and then sort of using the ideas of AR, augmented reality. The game itself can interact with the outside world visually, so that once you start playing the game, you give it your address, for example, or you're allowed to read your location. And in the game itself, it now highlights that house, that area, whatever, with a color. And other players in the game can see, oh, there's someone active in that area. And within the game itself, people can identify other elements of reality that have some sort of play with the game elements. Perhaps the game is about permaculture, and they want to start more gardens. They want to do education. They want to, inspire other people to do permaculture stuff. Permaculture sites, community gardens, growing spaces, teaching places, all this kind of stuff can be highlighted within the game. And the whole idea that I'm trying to expand on here is basically gamifying good stuff, gamifying the progress of humanity in various ways, and having some sort of overarching game that could involve permaculture, it can involve startup businesses, it can involve Web3 things, all sorts of different things that are happening in the real world, but it's all represented within the game and then gamified in a way through missions and other things, rewards and blah, 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 metrics that give it incentive, so that this stuff, when you're playing the game, you want to get more points for this, you want to be able to get more of these and connect to more stuff like this. But all the while, you're actually creating real connections and real progress within the actual world. And I think something like that is pretty cool. It could be a desktop game, a VR game, a mobile game. It could be all of those connected to the same metaverse or whatever. But I think that would be a really big project that I'd love to work on with, other people to make it work.
I think it's cool. I mean, me and Elijah have been talking about that similar vision for a while with Planetary Guardians in that sense. The idea was always to how to create that. I mean, the farthest I got was for looking at what an experience engine would be. Like, I was deep with Niantic. I ended up becoming friends with the head of AR at Niantic, and Diana, and we ended up having a lot of good conversations where their AR is more location based. It's called AR, but it's really like location based gaming with like an AR tinge to it. Like, that's kind of how I've seen it. And it's kind of AR and it's kind of location based. But their engine that Niantic's coming out with right now is fucking robust. Like they've really mapped the world better than like even Google Maps has done it. And they're creating a pretty open engine to allow people, like what Epic is doing for Unreal Engine 5, Niantic is doing for location-based AR gaming right now. They're really building some serious stuff. And I'm really curious where those two worlds come together. Like honestly, Unreal Engine 5 is such a big game changer. It is such a big industry game changer. It is, I think really in terms of graphics and in terms of development, where I think the next metaverses are going to orient 5-10 years from now. I think it's great that these metaverses are like browser enabled, but they look like shit. To be honest. And so we ended up mapping out what an experience engine would look like. So we built a really cool model where each space in every city was essentially a place for experiences to happen. And we connected experience creators with spaces and created a gamified XP system where you could just go in the world and you could see what experiences were happening around you. So the AR, the phone, was only used as a way to navigate experiences. And once you go there, the idea is to put down your phone. And the longer you kept your phone down, you'd actually gain XP points. So the idea is like, how do you gain experience for keeping your phone down? Nobody's ever done that. I've never seen that happen before, right? And actually engage with real people in the world. And what does it look like to actually have geolocation so that, you get points wherein you're in a geofence. So you're 10 people in a geofence together, phones down, you're all accruing points for being in that geofence and having an experience. So these are some really cool dynamics that you can play with for how to incentivize real world behavior and make it fun and make it around experiences. And when you make it as broad as experiences, like, it can be planting a garden, it can be skateboarding, it can be fucking anything, right? Like, and to have a game that has mission and impact, but is not solely mission and impact, because it'll bottom out. Anyways, that's the doorbell. I gotta run.
Okay. Thanks, Raamayan. Have a great
Good seeing you guys.
Are we going to talk later on?
We'll talk again another time.
Yeah, I'll let you know when this is wrapped up and I'll give you a call.
Okay. See you.
Bye.
So, pretty exciting, eh?
Yeah, he's always pretty good to talk to, actually. I've only talked to him a couple times, but it's always engaging. I think there's a lot of synergy there.
Well, he's got a full team. They're gearing up for next level funding. They're looking for beta testers. I'm going to be one of the beta testers for the new Paradigm Toolkit and the Inflow Matrix. So I don't know. Like, I mean, I hope there's a way to bring all these things together in a way that we can work together, still work on our independent projects, but have sort of bigger, like this, like the need of the moment right now is asking for a new way to organize ourselves, right? Like, specifically around business, specifically around money, specifically around independent entrepreneurial people who want to create, but don't want to do it the old paradigm way, need new tools. And I've got a set of tools. You got, I wouldn't say quite tools, but more of a skill set and big goals. And Raamayan's got massive goals and lots of, he's filling in lots of the pieces. I think on the tech side, he's the tech integration between all the pieces. He's very good at comprehending things quickly and then seeing the connections and then being able to vocalize it in a way that's at least understandable, I think, to most of us. Because some of the stuff can get pretty complicated with the languaging that we just don't understand if we're not tech people,
Yep. Actually, I'd love for you to pass a message on to him. I didn't have a chance. There's so much stuff going on in Web3 and blockchain and all that, but there's actually another alternative to blockchain that most people don't know about. And I think that any company or startup that's going to embrace both of them and offer both of them and integrate them both and see where each of them can really play a part is going to be way stronger than anyone doing just one.
And what's that?
It's called Matrix, matrix.org.
Are you kidding me?
Yep. No, it's real. I have a friend who works there, and he's told me quite a lot about it. There's an alternative to blockchain. It solves the same problem, the Byzantine generals problem, which is what blockchain and those things are supposed to solve. This solves in a different way. It has different applications, which means they're not a direct competitor, and it's not all about crypto. It's completely different, but the technology is new, and it's also kind of just as, I think, inspiring and innovative as blockchain is. And I think also it's that type of thing is going to play a part in the future. And yeah, anyway, if you could just pass on something about that to him, I think
okay. Well, he'll probably
watch. Smart for him to look into it.
Yeah, well, I'll tell him to watch this, and I mean, that sounds, I mean, considering the information system I got is called the inflow matrix, and considering the implications of the movie The Matrix, and then the
True, true, true.
blockchain The Matrix, something's trying to kind of, I don't know, the irony of life. So do you have to go soon, I guess?
I don't have to, but I'm going to.
Oh, well, glad you're
But
enjoying
not,
yourself.
you know, I don't have to jump out the door immediately. I'm going all these places and dropping some advertising off for
Oh,
my
for
course.
your
Yeah,
course.
I'm doing advertising and networking.
Okay, well, wait a second here. Let's just finish up here. Thanks everyone for watching. This has been a great conversation between Nova Raamayan and Captain Sweet, and we'll see you on the next one.